Hi, this is Sem Robberse from the Toronto Blue Jays. You're listening to the podcast Walk Off with Scott Belford and Adam Mack.
All right. We are thrilled to be joined today by pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays organization, signed in 2019 from Zeiss, Netherlands, Sem Robberse. Welcome to the walk-off, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, buddy. Where are you at right now?
I'm in my room in my house hometown in the Netherlands.
Okay. So do you know when you're heading out this way?
I'm not sure that you're thinking about the end of the month. So we'll hope for that and see how spring training goes.
Absolutely. I'm actually really excited to hear about your baseball journey, my man, because it's so unique in comparison to a lot of the professional ball players that we talk to. So, when did you start playing baseball? What age were you?
I was 6 years old when I started playing baseball.
Were your
I
parent were your parents big ball fans?
My dad used to play baseball until he was like around 20 years old. When he got an accident with his knee, and then he couldn't play anymore. So he was out for the game for like 10 years, and then or maybe more, 15 years until I started playing baseball. So he got all into it, and he had a big box of baseball stuff that I've never seen. So it was like like you found gold. Like it's like holy shit. Like how does he get all this stuff? And that was pretty cool because he never like pushed me into baseball. So yeah, it was really like it was my decision to play a sport, and I think that's really cool.
Was that one of the things that drew you towards baseball? Was like finding all this like ball stuff your dad had? Because I know that in the Netherlands, like everyone's playing soccer, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
soccer or hockey. Like it was a cool thing because I was taking swimming lessons, and I was like done with that. I finished that, and next to the pool there was a baseball field, and like as soon as I got done with that, I wanted to like let's try it. So I went with my mom, and when I got back and I made a decision to play baseball, I found that box, and I had never seen it. It was a pretty big box, and yeah, it was really cool to see all those stuff from years ago, and yeah, it really drove me to like play baseball.
That's very cool, man. I'm really curious about Zeist. I mean, I know the Netherlands definitely a non-traditional baseball market. However, Zeist is a bit of an anomaly. I've heard that it's a little bit of a baseball hotbed. Tell me about that.
It's like I was born there. I grew up over here, like I think 20 minutes away from there in Boudenberg, and yeah, over here you don't have a baseball team. I went up in Leusden, which is like a small one with a big field, but we used to play there, and yeah, that's basically where I started it. And it's not really big. Like at school, nobody really played it. Like they played it for fun with me when out in the soccer field. But other than that, yeah, it wasn't like anything with baseball around here. So
That's so funny. You were the kid being like, no, no, throw the ball at me. Here we go.
yeah, exactly.
So the Jays signed you as an international free agent from the Dutch Major League in 2019 at 17 years old. What was it like being in high school and then all of a sudden you're literally getting ready to go play professional baseball on a different continent?
It was pretty cool because like you're playing, and I chose a different team because I wanted to play in the Dutch Major League, and I just wanted to compete in that level and the highest level over here. And yeah, then all of a sudden you're doing good and you get in contact with the Blue Jays, and yeah, from then on they were just following me, and yeah, I needed to finish my school because that was like my first priority. If I have my school, then I have like the basics like ready, and then I can
Right.
go
Your,
from
your
there.
parents your parents weren't all for you dropping out of high school to pursue
No,
Moving
professional
to
no,
baseball.
Canada.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, from that point on, it was really cool. I finished that, and then I had all the opportunity to just go over there and like follow my dream.
What was that whole process like? Like the international free agent process? How did the scouting work? Were the Jays the only team that were talking to you, or did you have other teams reaching out? How did that go for you?
Well, it first started in I think 2017 in Barcelona, where we had a Major League Spring Training tournament with the Dutch national team under 18, and that's where they already picked me up, the Blue Jays, to like follow me around. And the year after that, 2018, when we had the European Championships in Italy, there are also scouts over there, and that's basically how it goes with European players, that they like get noticeable on those tournaments, and from that point on, like if you're good, they're going to follow more, and they go like to competition games instead of only tournament games. And that's what happened with me. And um, yeah, from that's when they start talking to me and start like offering too. And that was like really when you think like, okay, like something is gonna happen. That's gives you a boost.
It must have been a little surreal at times, eh? Like
Yeah.
in the Netherlands, I can imagine that because there aren't a lot of people playing baseball, that it's a pretty tight knit community. Like you know everyone within it, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. You know, like basically everyone. And in my opinion, that's also a good way to get seen. You know, like most of the players are like old when you're playing in the Dutch major league, like kind of like more towards the 30s.
Fuck
And
you.
yeah, if you're good,
Sorry.
yeah, they're more like old. Like I was
Fair
17
enough.
when I
Yeah,
got
of
into
enough.
the
course.
league. So if you're like going to
Right,
compare
of
that,
course.
um, so from like when you get seen over there, and it's you get pretty noticeable. Like you're standing out because you're young and you're doing good. So yeah, in my opinion, that's easier to get noticed. Other than when you're living in the U.S. when there are so many baseball players, you
Yeah,
just
for
like
sure.
get that opportunity. So
So you did wind up pitching 10 innings in the Gulf Coast League in 2019. Just a taste, right?
yeah,
Had you been to North America before that?
I had been to Indiana for a Cold World Series with a Dutch national team under 16
Cool.
in
Okay.
2017. So that was my first trip to the U.S.
So that was your first taste of ball in North America. The
Yeah.
10 innings you spent in the Gulf Coast League. How would you compare that to the Dutch professional league? Did you feel a little overwhelmed, or were you right there and it kind of gave you confidence in your skill?
I think it was like over here you have two main teams that are like every year in the finals, and those are Amsterdam and Rotterdam, and those two teams are like kind of what you're playing against every team in the GCL. So I was like more focused on that. Like, okay, like I need to be like hitting my spots and just need to do my thing, like what I always do, and just be like focused and going pitch by pitch. And that's what I did. And I wasn't like overwhelmed or anything. And I wasn't like oh shit, like I'm gonna face professional baseball players right now. It just yeah, you're going out and do your thing. And if you do that, then I think yeah, you can do much more than that. You know.
Have you been a pitcher all along?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've also been playing middle infield and yeah,
Yeah.
those two positions basically.
So you got your first taste of professional baseball. You finally go over, you play a little in the Gulf Coast League, and then the apocalypse hits. Uh, how has this pandemic been on your end? Is everyone in the Robberse family staying safe and sane? How have you kind of dealt with this whole thing?
Well, we got shut down, and then we weren't able to go over to the Netherlands anymore. So that kind of yeah sucked. So
Yeah.
we had to stay over there, and at first it wasn't really like a problem. Like I just did my workouts in my room because like it's the only thing I could do. And then after that, I stayed over there because I just wanted to still have that feeling of being a year away from my family and like home. To have that feeling still like getting used to that. And so I stayed over there at the hotel, and I just did my throwing against the wall, my weighted balls, and like trying to improve myself.
Right.
And I had to I wanted to increase my spin efficiency on my fastball, and I was really busy with that. So I did all kinds of things to try things out to see what worked on that wall at the parking lot.
Right. So how did you go about improving your spin efficiency? What was it you were working on? Was it your grip? Like what is
Like basically everything. I processed it. I thought about everything to see what is going to work. And you first want to like see if small adjustments are going to do its thing. And so that was the grip I like messed around with grips and stuff to see if that worked. And then I already saw that with slow motion videos that my wrist was just it was more my wrist than it was the grip. So then I had to like see what I can change to in order to get like behind the ball, like straight behind the ball, so it spins straight. And that was really like practicing, doing it over and over again, the same thing. And eventually it worked because I think in spring training last year, I was at I think 79% spin efficiency. And the first time I got off the mound in late July, I had hit a 97% spin efficiency. So it
Wow.
definitely
what's
worked.
spin efficiency as opposed to just spin?
Now I have a baseball right here.
You're
Of
ready.
course,
I
I'm
love
a
Yeah.
it.
pitcher that I'm walking around.
That's great.
So like spin efficiency is how the ball is like approaching home plate. Like if it's going straight and it has this movement, so you see the four seams the whole time, it is
Yeah.
100% spin efficiency.
So that's what you're
And
after.
yeah, that was what I was after. Yeah. And the thing is not that I also found out is it doesn't have to go like straight like this. It also can be like this as soon as you still see the four seams and you don't see any change of like
Okay.
direction like this. So it's like kind of
Gotcha.
going like a cutter. So I was really, looking for that staying really behind the ball so that when you release it, you're like behind this and you see the ball rotate like that.
Right. And you're trying to do that because it's just more difficult for the hitters to pick up, correct?
Yeah. It's the ball. Like if you have the 100% spin efficiency, it's not gonna cut. It's not gonna drop as much. It just stays on a straight plane, and that's what you want to have. Like then you can play your fastball up in the zone because it's staying straight, and then in the swing path of the batter is like kind of like up. So you're basically
You're
missing the barrel
swinging
or
under
missing the
it.
bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I tried to accomplish. I still have that natural cutter. Like I know how to throw that, so I've kind of like both, so I can keep it like straight, and I can also cut on the side. And with that fastball, being able to play it up in the zone, you can also play your curveball off of that better than what I used to.
Right. And you actually have a pretty decent curveball, correct?
Yeah. My curveball is basically my second best pitch right now.
Well, I know that when the Jays first signed you, that you were, and I mean you're 17, so obviously, like even just the picture of you at 17, the fact you were throwing 87 miles an hour is pretty impressive. But you've added quite a bit of velocity, right? Like you're reaching over 90 at this point.
Unreal.
Yeah. I got there in 2019, and I was throwing 87, 88 at top when I got there. And first month we just did bullpens, live BPs, and stuff like that. And it was 87, something like 86 to 88. And in my first game, I remember I wasn't trying to do anything like special and trying to throw hard. I was just hitting my spots. And I got off the mound and I heard I threw 92, and I was like, 92? Where you got that number from? Like I wasn't even thinking about that. But that's mainly because I gained a lot of weight in those couple months when I was there.
Right. You were working on the physical side of things then.
Yeah, I wasn't really like focusing on. I was just doing the workouts, and I was trying to just fill up my plate with like lunch, breakfast, and dinner, and just eat all of that, and then we'll see where it ends up. And yeah, when it took off from there.
Well, your fastball's breaking 90 miles an hour these days. You have a solid curveball, as you said. What have you been working on lately? How do you feel about your changeup? Are you trying to add a fourth pitch to your repertoire, or have you already? Where are you at?
I'm like having the curve on the fastball right now, and I was really working on my changeup, and I've been really trying to do like the same thing with the spin efficiency, that you're behind the ball, you're not cutting your wrist and stuff like that, and that really helped. It has a good drop on it right now. I really want to like focus on the command of it right now, and I also have that natural cutter to work with.
Can I jump in here and ask
Right.
a question when it comes to changeups? I mean, I've played baseball my whole life,
Sure.
but I never pitched. What
Mhm.
what goes into a changeup as to opposed to just throwing a fastball softly?
It's it's a feel pitch, so you have to like you have your fingers, your index finger, your middle finger. Your index finger is like most of the time your power finger. That's what like generates the velocity on the fastball. So if you take that one away on the side, you only manage those two. And if you're like trying to stay behind the ball as much, you're going to release it with your ring finger, and that's what doesn't generate any velocity. So in that point, you can throw it as hard as you can, but it's not going to come out
So
like
the
90
arm,
miles an hour.
the arm movement then is the same. It's just the fingers are
Yeah.
not applying that extra 20 miles an hour. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why it can be so deceptive, is that hitters think it's a fastball.
Yeah, yeah, and also the thing is like it can be straight. Like if the velocity is off of it, then it's already nasty. But if you also can generate the drop or like a movement to it, then you make it basically unhittable.
What's your favorite pitch to throw and watch a hitter whiff and miss? Is it your curveball?
I think it's my curveball. Yeah, I also like to throw my curveball and just like buckle the knees and like just lob it in there and for a strike and you're walking away. Like it's a really good feeling.
Yeah, right. It's almost like ha, fooled
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know, man, that we're still at the tail end of this pandemic. I'm well aware of how up in the air things are right now. Do you have any idea where the Blue Jays kind of plan on you pitching this year? Are you going to be back in the instructional league? Are you doing extended spring training in Dunedin? Like, what's your plan over the next few months here?
I haven't really heard anything about that yet. I know last year they planned me on going to low A, start over there. So I did like extended spring training and then start in low A most likely. So I'd set my goals on that, and we'll see what happens when I get over there.
So, is there a pitcher? It's funny because I know the biggest thing about going pro and becoming a part of a minor league affiliate is the coaching just takes a step up. How is the coaching in the Netherlands? Are there lots of guys who have kind of gone the route you're going? Like, do you have a support system of guys that maybe you're calling every once in a while and being like, hey, what was it like when you were there or whatever? Or are you kind of just experiencing this on your own?
There are some guys that went over there and had that experience, not a lot. And so that's why it's kind of like you really need to find someone who actually had that experience and can tell you something about it. I'm more like, experiencing it on my own, and also want to just like see what other players did, and then kind of learn from it. Not really like I don't really want to know what the life is over there, because I think that's just something you need to adjust on, because it's never the same as what they experience, what you're going to experience.
Right.
Especially nowadays with like all kinds of social media and stuff, like all those new things, new rules sometimes, and with all the Rapsodo stuff, like they don't really know how that went a couple of years ago, like, so it's more trying to find it out on my own and adjust to the things that I'm not used to.
How plugged into are you to stuff like Rapsodo and all the analytics stuff? Are you a bit of a data head?
I can be. I also want to have it just like the feeling of it, that it needs to feel good, because you can like throw like 99 miles an hour, but it doesn't feel good in your arm or anything, then most likely I'm not going to do it. Or with my spin efficiency, if that doesn't feel good on my wrist or it doesn't feel natural, then you just need to find another way. I was really focusing on it when I wanted to improve my spin efficiency, because then you like basically need it to know like what percentage it is. And for velocity, I wanted to like have my change of like decrease some velocity. So that's what I focused on. But other than that, I'm not really that of a data head, but I can be if I need to use it.
So if you're a guy that goes on feel, are you at that point yet with let's say spin efficiency, right? When you throw a fastball, can you feel it now when you're a little off?
Yeah, I can definitely feel that.
And what do you do to adjust between pitches then? Let's say you're throwing a bullpen or something, and you just go, that one was off.
Most of the time Most of the time it's about extension. So if you're like really behind the ball, you need to like extend like in front, because then you know like you're not going to cut.
Do you know that it's happening as you're throwing it? Do you go, "Ooh, this one is gonna be a melon"? Because I like playing softball. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that when
I
I'm
do.
throwing
I
to
do
first,
know.
as soon as it leaves my hand, I'm like, "Ooh, this is going into the dugout."
Yeah, you can definitely feel that. Like when you practice it a lot, you can feel at one point like, okay, I'm really on kind of on the side, so I just need to be more in extension in front. So then you kind of make those small adjustments, and you definitely feel that.
I'm curious mentally when you watch. I mean, you've been working hard, building, gaining mass, gaining velocity on your fastball. What is, out of curiosity, where have you topped out at on your fastball? 93, 94?
94. I've
And
topped
how
out at
old are you?
94. I'm at 19 right now.
So, as a guy who at 17, everyone was like, this guy, he's picking his spots. It's great, but he's topping out at 87. Is it exciting to watch your velocity go up? Like, is there a bit of a thrill to that?
Yeah, it is, because I wasn't like focusing on it at all. And then when you are, I noticed like when after the first game when I hit 92, I told one of my coaches to just like, oh, next week I can hit 93, and then the first pitch of the next game is 93, and that's like pretty cool, because in the game you're not really focusing on it, but like then it happens because you're gaining strength and gaining weight, and you also gain velocity, and that's pretty cool to see.
Now, obviously, focusing on velocity is never a good way to go about pitching. However, I'm sure there's no way you can't at least dream of it. How exciting would it be to hit triple digits?
That's sick.
That would be
Like
sick, right?
that's sick, because like right now you see the pitchers who throw 100, especially Jacob DeGrom. Like
Oh,
he throws it like he's playing catch, and like how do you generate that much velocity when you're like, it looks like you're not even throwing?
it
Like,
just looks effortless. I know. It's
yeah,
annoying. It's like, how is he
yeah, it
doing
is.
this?
Like, it's unfair. It's unfair.
It's kind of cool because, and I think there is such, everyone's so attracted to velocity because it's just something humans shouldn't do. Like humans
Yeah,
shouldn't throw 100 miles an hour. It doesn't even make
no,
sense.
no, exactly.
Okay. Did you have a favorite major league team growing up? I know you obviously had no horses in the race, but was there a team that you were like, I just love watching them? Or did you just kind of pay attention to everything? Or did you not even pay attention to Major League Ball?
In the beginning, I wasn't really like aware of it. Then when I started playing it, I saw those things of my dad. Like he started picking it up, and then it was more like the Yankees. Like it's one of the
Right.
most popular
All right.
teams
Well, thanks
back
for stopping
then.
by.
Um,
I'm kidding, of course.
yeah, yeah. It was that time was the Yankees, and I got like stuff for my birthday when like the Yankees jersey and stuff like that. But then after you like start not really caring about what team it is, you just want to follow some players that you like. And
Yeah.
same as right now, like you follow certain pitchers who are like going crazy. Like
Who are
are
some of the
putting up
pitchers you're
numbers.
following right now?
Like I'm following Jacob DeGrom. I follow
Right.
Ryu because I think it's really interesting to see like how he manages to get through ball games and put up those insane numbers.
Yeah.
With the
For a
velocity
guy
and
who
stuff.
tops out at like 92. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and it's so interesting. And like also Garrett Cole and Shane Bieber, who
Yeah.
like dominated last year with like, the amount of strikeouts he had. Those guys I most of the time follow.
So obviously you've got to stay within your skill set and kind of pitch to what your strengths are. But when you're watching other pitchers pitch like that, like the guys you just mentioned, what are the little things that you're trying to take away from that for yourself?
Most of the time sequencing. I really like focused on that last year as well, watching a lot of games back to see like what they are doing to get like guys out over and over again, and what they change or what they do different, and how they are like tunneling their stuff and make sure in tough situations they can get out of it.
I always love talking to pitchers about their method, because all of you are so different, like some guys are so focused on every batter they're facing and their weaknesses and what they're going to do. And then some pitchers are just like, you know what, I'm playing to my strength because I'm all I can worry about. Where do you fall in that? Like when you're mentally facing a batter, obviously we're in an analytically driven time, so you can't ignore the data, but are you more focused on your strengths?
Yeah, most of the time I do. I like to call my own game and just noticing things for myself. Of course, you talk with your catcher to see if he saw something, but most of the time it's about my strengths. And I believe that if you, it doesn't matter who it is, if you set someone up, you can get them out. Like it's just the way of sequencing and approaching and attacking.
Do you
a hitter.
have an approach like for a given hitter before the game starts? Like for this guy, I'm gonna go after him with my fastballs and set him up with this, or is it more of a pitch by pitch basis? Like, okay, I'm down in the count, so I got to battle back. Or how much does that vary? How much of it is intended going into it?
Yeah, you most of the time, like what I do is I want to see like the whole lineup, who is like sitting, like who is hitting, and like see their stats on basically their first pitches.
Gotcha.
Are they first pitch swingers? Like if they're not, then we just throw it in there. Like it doesn't really matter. Are they like are they behind in the count and they're going like for swing it, or I'm gonna take it and get on base? Like those type of things I want to know so I can adjust on that and work with that, and then from that point on, I can just like do my own thing and
see, that's such an interesting part of the game with like stat tracking and stuff that you can just look at a lineup and go, okay, the number 3 and the number 7 batter never swing at the first pitch, so I can throw whatever I want as long as I hit the zone. I'm up on them. That's so cool.
Yeah.
How much? When it comes to, I guess I'm asking about the dynamic between you and your catchers. Have you run into a catcher that is just, for whatever reason, you have clicked with more than others? And how much does the communication between the two, how much time do you spend just figuring out what your process is going to be and the batter's
what I used to do is
weaknesses?
Over here was I was most of the time playing the second game, so like you see how the first pitcher did, what the opposing team did, and you're going over that with your catcher to see like, okay, this guy swings a lot, this guy is taking more, and like you're going like make a plan off of that. And I want a catcher that also comes and brings his own information. Like when I'm on the mound and he gives me a fastball, I shake off, and he gives me a fastball again, that he is confident enough to give me that fastball again, or even the third time when I shake it up twice, that he knows like he saw something and like, okay, I just go with that pitch. And because you always need to be confident to throwing that pitch. You always need to be comfortable too, because it's going to be in your numbers. Like if you're not comfortable throwing a curveball or fastball and he's hitting it out, like that's on you. It's not on the catcher. So you always need to, if the catcher saw something, like he wants a fastball, you don't want it, and he gives it multiple times, just take a breath, step off, and okay, we're going for the fastball. You need to be confident about what you're throwing.
So there is some trust involved where you're like, okay, I don't feel it, but he's seeing something. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious how you feel about social media, Sem, because I know we're kind of in an interesting time in baseball where social media is becoming a bigger and bigger thing, just in sports in general. I mean,
look at Trevor Bauer.
I mean, Trevor Bauer probably added millions of dollars to his salary just through the game he played on social media, right? How do you feel about that? And where do you lie on that social media thing? Do you get involved in it, or do you prefer to just kind of not even think about it?
I think it has, like nowadays, it's really good to make the game more popular and more attractive to like people who don't know about it or are not really like familiar with. I think that's a really good thing. Like what Trevor Bauer does, he just gives the information. He just shows the behind the scenes, what everybody kind of wants to see. And for me personally, I can post some workout videos of myself, like pitching wise, or just to also have that like people will be aware of like what is going on behind the
Yeah.
scenes, and like that's what makes the game more interesting nowadays than what it was back then, like multiple years ago. And yeah, I think social media has a big part of the popularity of the game right now.
It's funny because even as a fan, and it's been really cool the last year. You know, like obviously this pandemic sucks balls, but
Yeah,
um, it's been neat to see how much Zoom has been done, and even you just showing your grip, right? Like that's something that's
yeah,
becoming more and more prevalent in the game, and it's very cool for younger guys coming up that all of a sudden this information is literally ready and available to them.
yeah. I think that's really cool. I mean, I use it too. Like you see the pitching ninja right now
Yeah,
too has a
pitching ninja's
podcast with
the man.
with
Yeah.
with yeah, exactly. Like he's interviewing like all those like Cy Young winners and all those coming up good future pitchers and showing their grips. And I think for young players that are struggling with a certain pitch, like try these out, try those multiple grips out, and you maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't work for you. Like you just have to play around with that stuff and see what works for you. And I think with all that information just being out there, I think
It
gonna
is
grow the
really
game.
cool because like when I was a kid, you really relied on having, if you're from a small town or something, right? You really hope that your coach happened to play high level because otherwise, if somebody's dad's teaching you, he doesn't know how to throw a curveball. So what prayer do I have in learning how to throw a curveball, right? So, but with the internet age,
Yeah, exactly. Like
it's there for everybody. So it's awesome.
yeah, like you need to like years ago just needed to ask. Like you need to go up to people who play in major leagues and stuff like that and just ask them and stuff like that. And like nowadays it's just you're looking it up on Google or on Instagram or whatever, and you can find at least like 10 things of what you want to look up.
Absolutely, man. Even little things like when you were talking about the index finger being your power finger, right? If you're a 13-year-old, like you don't know that.
No.
So, like it's kind of cool that this age of information, it has made it so easy to transfer knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's going to grow the game because all those younger kids are on social media and see those things and they're going to try it out. And I think in the future, younger players are going to be better than what they were 20 years ago.
100%, man. What do you look forward to in 2021? What progress are you trying to make this year? And this doesn't just have to be a baseball question. Are there sites and places that you want to see once you get over to the U.S. again and things are opened up and everyone who wants a vaccine can have one? Like, what do you see for 2021 coming up?
Yeah, I just wanted to like have the experience. I mean, I'm young. I just want to see multiple things. Like it's like a great opportunity to play professional baseball at such a young age. Like you see so many things. You have so much experience on all of those things. And if you can go to the US, like why not just visit like whatever you want?
Yeah.
Like you have Universal Studios, Disneyland, like all those stuff already in Florida. Like,
yeah.
you can go to the country and see much more than that.
I'm sure you treat your body like a temple. You're an athlete. You would never drink alcohol in a million years. But what is the legal drinking age over there?
It's over here, it's 18.
It's nothing new for you. If you go to the U.S., you can't drink anyways. But all right, well there you go. I was gonna say if you come to Vancouver, legal drinking age, you're old enough, but you're gonna be focused on baseball. So.
Sem, I have enjoyed this so much, my man. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Do you have a few more minutes here? I've got some listener questions if you've got the time.
Yeah, sure. I have the time, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so Darius and Red Deer, that's in Alberta, so I don't know. We're closer to the west of Canada. He says, hey, Sem, how much did you know about the Toronto Blue Jays before they signed you?
A decent amount. Like you saw them in the playoffs years before that. So like you were picking it up because like over here, like I'm also interested in that stuff. So you're picking it up. It's not really like right now you're more interested because you're involved in it. Like you were seeing more things of like the Blue Jays and you want to know more things. And earlier it was just you're seeing them like once every couple weeks, just to like, oh, they're in the postseason, like you're gonna follow them, and like I think it's I kind of knew a little bit of it before I got
Right.
signed.
Okay, so Tanya out of Kitchener, that's in Ontario. That's about 2 hours from Toronto.
Okay.
She says, Sem, congrats on signing with the Jays. When you first went to the U.S. to play ball, was there a dish or food from the Netherlands you missed?
Not really.
Not really?
No, not really. I mean, like over there, you just can get whatever you want. Like it's on every corner of the street, there's something different. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with that.
You were just fine with the variety that was there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, the last question here is Jack in Winnipeg. So that's the center of the country here. He says, hey, Sem, I know during this pandemic it's hard to keep up a regular routine. What were you doing during the downtimes? Did you pick up a hobby? Are you baking bread now?
I was actually starting to like more creative things. I was started drawing some. I draw like I think a Michael Jordan picture, Kobe Bryant.
Cool.
I think I started with a Roy Halladay
Nice.
too, and I
Doc.
also drew my brother as a catcher. So yeah, I think those things I was working on a little bit just to like get my mind off of like this shit around myself. Like watching TV or Netflix or the whole day is also gets boring at some point.
Yeah, of course.
So just some variety and something different to focus on was good for me.
Speaking of TV and Netflix, were you watching anything interesting? Did you watch anything over this time that you enjoyed?
I watched multiple shows. I watched The 100. I watched Prison Break. I watched How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
I think I started watching the Lucifer. I started watching.
Right. Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
funny, eh? Like, I don't know about you. I never watched that much TV. And over the last year, I don't think I've ever watched more in my entire life.
Yeah, exactly. For me too. Like it's yeah, you have a lot of time on your hands. So
Yeah, a lot of time.
What else are you
That's
gonna do?
Well, honestly, brother, thank you so much for taking the time. This was really
you're
enjoyable,
welcome.
Sam. I look forward to following your career, and maybe we can touch base again when you get back over here and figure out where you're playing.
Yeah, sounds
Awesome.
good.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.